Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Arely and this is Arely Budgets. Thank you all so much for being here. Today we have a very exciting video. Very excited for me. I hope it's exciting for you as well. But we are paying off my condo. Feels amazing to just say that. Wow. I can't believe it. But we're doing it. I set a goal for myself to pay it off in 2025, and really in the first quarter of 2025. We are just slightly over that first 1 quarter mark. We are in the month of April, but you know, as long as we get it done, that's really all that matters. It was a rather ambitious goal, but I know that we could get it done. And we started the year with 23K left to pay on this condo. For a little bit of background, I got this condo, I want to say 10 and a half years ago on a 30-year loan. But like, time is weird, guys. I have a hard time remembering, but I want to say about 3 years ago, my boyfriend and I moved into a home, and I decided to keep the condo available for my kids, my college, young adult aged children. But I still owed money on it, and I really wanted to pay it off. That was kind of like my goal even before moving into a home with my boyfriend. And like, I definitely didn't want to be responsible for 2 mortgages. So yeah, I kind of like decided to fast track my goal and really get it paid off. I paid off 24K, maybe slightly over, in 2024, and I had 23K to go. And let's see how we're doing. So in January, I did my regular $850 payment. Let me see if I could zoom you guys in a bit. There we go. Which leaves me with a balance of $22,420. I always throughout the years have tried to pay a little bit extra. Even this $850 is a little bit extra. My regular payment, my mandatory payment, is like $820-ish. But then additionally, I see what I have in my checking account and I make an additional payment based off of that. So I also made an additional $120 payment, which put us at $22,300. Basically, I always try to zero out depending what I have available. On to February, regular $850 payment plus an extra $67 to zero us out at $21,650. March, $850 and an extra $65 payment to zero us out at $21,000. And then April, regular $850 payment. I really was hoping that by April I didn't have to make any regular payments, but I was counting like on a big bonus to kind of like help me pay off this debt, and it was just a medium-sized bonus. So yeah, I was responsible for an April payment. That put me at $20,413. I paid an additional $13 to put us at, that should say, $20,400. And that's where we are right now. So yes, we are still always off from paying it off, but here is where part 2 comes in. And it is that I have sinking funds. And kind of like this plan was put into motion late in 2024 when I was like checking my balances monthly, and I realized, wait a minute, if I add up all my sinking funds, I kind of have quite a bit of money, and maybe I can use this money for my big goal. And so I decided to go ahead with that plan. So I did have one specific sinking fund, which was my condo. I hope you guys are not like lopsided. If you are, I really apologize. So I did have one specific sinking fund towards that goal. And I had $11,000 in that sinking fund. A big chunk of that came from my inheritance. My parents are still alive, bless them. And they decided to give their children, myself included, a bit of money, I guess, as an inheritance. That's the way they explained it. But yeah, as a living, I don't know what you would call it, but like, you know, inheritance while they're alive. I don't know if there's a special name for that, but that's what it is. So I put my money towards, you know, my goal of paying off that condo. I also had $4,000 of that came from my regular savings. I saved religiously $500 from each paycheck. It put quite a strain on my budget, but if I wanted to pay off my condo, that's what I needed to do. So that's since December. So December, January, February, and March, $1,000 each month, $500 per paycheck. That's $4,000 saved. And then the last $2,000 was from my bonus paycheck. That was my lump sum. And I decided to put it towards my condo payoff goal. So altogether, that was $11K. And yeah, I'm pulling money from my emergency fund, all $2,000 of it. Also pulling from my car emergency fund. I decided to leave some money in there because my car, you know, it's older and it may need some care. So I'm pulling $1,000 from there. I also created a sinking fund to work as a buffer for whatever I may need. So typically I have like a buffer. I like to have buffers, guys, in case you haven't noticed. And one of the buffers that I had was in my checking account. And then Kathy actually gave me this idea because she does this. She transfers her money to like a savings account to let it grow there. So I decided to go ahead and do that. So this built up over time, but I did add some money from savings challenges that I had finished to this buffer. So overall it was $2,000 in there. Taxes was a sinking fund that I had from 2024 that I put there in case I needed to pay taxes. And I did not. I needed to pay like $27 or something. So yeah, I could use this money for something else. I'm using it to pay off my condo. And then I'm also pulling money from a sinking fund, which I'm gonna need pretty soon, but that's okay, we'll figure it out. But this is my sinking fund to pay for my car and condo insurance, and that's $1,000. All together, add it up. I did the math. I'm gonna try and do it again for you. 11,000 plus 2,000 plus 1,000 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1. 18,000, yes. So we have $18,000 here. We need 20,400. I'm pulling $1,000 from savings. That's typically like my savings buffer that I have to be like a month ahead on my condo mortgage. So I'm just gonna pull that money. And then I did set aside $1,000 from my first paycheck in the month of April. And so that puts us at 20K. So how am I gonna get myself to 20,400? Guys, whatever, at this point, what day is it today? I don't even know what day is it today. But I am walking myself to the bank right now. And I'm not even gonna fill it in because you know what? Interest accumulates every day. So it's gonna be slightly over my payoff quote is going to be slightly over than $400, maybe 420, something like that. But I have enough in my checking account. I've transferred all the sinking funds, all the savings. I've transferred all this money to my checking account, and my checking account also had money. I also transferred all the interest accumulated through these various sinking funds. So I have in my checking account enough money to cover the $20,400 plus that I will need. So I am walking myself to the bank right now to pay off my condo. Guys, it feels so good. It feels so good in my body. I know it's the right thing to do. I am ready for this. And by the time you see this video, this will have been done. Like, I'm not posting this video if I didn't go through with this process. So hopefully I can include some sort of proof, some sort of picture that, you know, it's been done. And yeah, this may feel like a little weird for some of you. Like, why did I save this money for different purposes if at the end of the day I was just gonna use it for whatever I want? But I think it's about prioritizing, knowing what your priorities are, and then putting your money where your mouth is. Like, if your priority is to relax, what are you doing to relax? If your priority is to pay off your condo, what are you doing to pay off your condo? Think strategically, think creatively, what can get done. And like I said, some of this money I'll need to figure something out. I won't need this, but I'll need like a condo repair fund. I'll definitely need an emergency fund and to build up my car emergency again. Won't need my taxes. Will definitely need this. So I'll have to definitely do some restructuring of my money later. But my first priority is to pay off this condo. And so that's what we're doing, guys. I wish I knew the date. But it's getting done today. So thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.